Yeah, we were actually just talking about David Goggins when we were out at the pull-up bar, and he just did the Moab 240, which is a 240-mile race through like high-altitude desert in America. Again, most people would think that's absolutely crazy, but for him, it's a way to test his own brain and to see what happens.
Yeah.
So he's found a way to kind of make that interesting to him.
Yeah. Well, when I learned to run, I'm not nowhere near his scale, but I used to be clinically obese. Hated exercise. I mean, my friends would tell me about, oh, I love to run because of the runner's high. I had no idea what they're talking about. That was crazy talk to me.
Did you also associate exercise with something you might have to do to not be
Yes.
obese? So there was no good triggers there, right?
It was terrible. It was miserable for me.
People were saying, why don't you exercise?
Yes.
But that's the last thing you want to tell someone who's in a weird
That's exactly right.
loop like that. Okay.
I mean, I had all the negative associations. I mean, when I grew up, I never remember going into the pool without my t-shirt on because I didn't want anyone to see my rolls. And I grew up in Florida where, we had this community pool in my condo complex. There was one pool for the entire neighborhood, and that's what we always did.
Every weekend.
Every day after school, we would be in the pool. And I mean, I just had these terrible associations with my body image. And so, but I decided that, look, to be consistent with my values are defined as the attribute of the person you want to become. And so an attribute of a person I wanted to become was to be the kind of person who values physical fitness. I always wanted to become that kind of person, but I hated exercise. So when I started this journey, I started with running. And I didn't go straight into, okay, let's run a 5K, let's go do a marathon. I wanted to use this principle called AMEA. AMEA stands for minimal enjoyable action. And the idea here is that you learn to appreciate the intrinsic rewards in that behavior. You learn to play anything, essentially. So what did I do? The first thing I told myself was, I'm not doing this for a race. I'm doing this for the rest of my life, right? This is why I hate diets. Diets are temporary. This idea is if you want to eat right, do you want to just, eat right for a month, and what are you going to do after a month, right? This is also, by the way, why I don't like these digital detoxes of, get rid of your phone for 30 days, go on some digital detox plan, because what happens on day 31? You haven't figured out. You've just tested yourself to see if you can make it for 30 days, but then you bounce back with a vengeance. Right. So instead, what I told myself was, go back to the minimal enjoyable action. The minimal enjoyable action for me was taking a walk. I liked walking, some fresh air, I could make a phone call, I could, just enjoy myself, some free time for myself. So that's what I did. That was my MIA. Now, I do that for a month or two. Then I said, let me see what running for 5 seconds would look like. Literally 5 seconds. But during those 5 seconds, I wanted to find something that was intrinsically pleasurable about that behavior. Now, to me, in my mind, there was nothing fun about running. But I wanted to focus on a sensation, any sensation. That sensation for me was wind through my hair. Through 5 seconds of running, that's what I wanted to focus on. Just that sensation of what does it feel like to go a little faster than walking. Yeah. And so that's what I focused on. And that became a way to focus more intensely on the task. And you know where this goes. The 5 seconds led to a minute led to 5 minutes, and today I can run 4 miles because now I actually enjoy the activity for the first time in my life.
Right. Wow, that's a fascinating way to build that up. And it is fun to go fast, right?
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't focus on that because they'd be like, oh, I don't want to run. Oh, this is hard, and la, 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 and they would never get going.
Right.
And the reward at the end isn't enough to do it. And posting your time on Strava isn't enough to do it, probably. You need to find something that's intrinsically good about that.
Right. And we fetishize, for some reason, we fetishize the pain. No pain, no gain, right? That's BS. Right? For some people, it's not BS, right? If you want to be a world-class runner, you got to push through, right? You have to do deliberate practice. You have to focus on your faults to really become world class. But most of us aren't world class. We just want to get in a little better shape, right? We're not trying to win any Ironmans per se. So to start that lifelong routine, it's more important to look for the minimal enjoyable action. That's how we change our preferences to start enjoying the behavior.